Welcome back to another fresh episode on Front Row on Economy.lk. We have with us today Mr. Dee Liyanwela, who is the head of LSEG Sri Lanka, in conversation with us. Welcome to the show, Dee.
Thank you, Shiran. Thank you for having me.
So, a couple of questions I think we want to get across in terms of some perspectives for our viewers. We've been talking about this thing called digital economy. Companies are now more or less trying to plug into it in terms of either survival mode or in terms of growth opportunities. What have been some of the challenges do you feel from your experience overseas and what you're seeing even locally in terms of expanding, plugging into this economy and getting into new industries, new markets?
In terms of the challenges, I think one would have to think about what sort of participant are you. If you're an existing industry player on some sort of business you're looking to digitize, or you could be somebody who's trying to sell digital services to different markets. I think this question probably is more pertinent to the latter category, where you have products, especially if you're a Sri Lankan company who's got digital products who are trying to get into the market. Markets. The biggest challenge that anyone of that nature finds is having the know-how. So one of the key things I talk about when I talk about digitization is that you should not forget the fact that technology, digitization or digital, is still a means to an end. Ultimately, businesses are there, businesses exist for a purpose. One needs to identify what that purpose is. Why does it exist? And then one needs to identify how does it go about fulfilling that objective. Ultimately, it's fulfilling a customer's requirement. How does it go about currently doing it? Then try and apply digital, right? So what you typically find is you have technology companies with great technology know-how, niche products, innovative products, etc., who are born digital, but they don't necessarily have the know-how. This is exactly what the fintech has gone through as well. But when you have the know-how, you understand the industry that you're trying to get into, then you have a winning combination. So the challenge has always been that. So a lot of people, what they do, these companies, they collaborate with people from the industries, try and hire people who are insiders of the industries that you get into, build that know-how, etc. Where the rubber hits the road is when you have a product that satisfies an existing needs of a customer who are trying to digitize their business because X, Y, and Z, then you have a winning combination. So that's for the people who are selling. People who are already in the industry who are trying to digitize because of either it's a threat to them or they want to benefit from the opportunity. That's the know-how in a different kind, which is you understand your business, but you don't understand digital enough. So there, what I say is to always, when people ask that question and say, is you have to start with why. A lot of people panic about the digitization and go, I need to do something, let's create a website, let's do this, that, and the other. But you have to sit down and ask, why are we doing this? What's the benefit? Then come up with a strategy as to, therefore, this is what we're going to do. So that's what I would say.
And if you look at, I think you just alluded to it with reference to fintech as well as the capital markets, we've seen a heap of changes, disruption taking place. When you look at it from Sri Lanka's perspective as well, it's a growing area. Where does Sri Lanka sort of maybe lie relative to what's going on there, and are there certain trends that we can maybe plug into?
In the fintech industry?
Fintech and as well as the capital market.
Capital. So if you just look at the fintech industry in sort of general term, it's gone through an evolution as with anything else that we can think of. Internet, etc., etc. So this is, people talk about the third wave of fintech. The first being when people started enabling payments and loans through technology. That was the sort of first wave, so to speak. But when people talked about fintech, nobody really took that seriously, or that phrase seriously, up until in financial markets, at least in my experience, till about 2015, 2015-ish. And they realized, well, actually there's some seriousness to it. If we apply this technology to our businesses, we can benefit from it. So what then happens was wave 2 was collaborating again, bringing that insider knowledge, applying technology to it, and then benefiting from it. So a lot of organizations have done that and got to a certain stage. Now the third wave is that the technology is now driving the change. So this is where the advantage for Sri Lankan companies lie. So in order to, again, going back to my previous question, you need to have the knowledge of the industry that you're getting into. How you acquire is a whole different topic, but once you have that, you can disrupt the industry that you're targeting in a way that you gain the competitive advantage. So I think that's the advantage that Sri Lanka has. Where it is in terms of fintech and capital markets, I would say nascent. So there's a long way to go. I mean, generally in capital market terms, I think Sri Lanka has a long way to go. In my own opinion, and I've been talking about this for a while, it's a path that Sri Lanka must traverse and quickly. Building strong and transparent capital markets is something it must do if you need to get to the next stage of development. And technology, therefore, is a key enabler in doing that.
All right. So thank you so much, Dee, for joining us for this episode on Front Row. To our viewers, stay tuned for more interesting conversations like this with eminent personalities and experts.